welcome to TCF 2022 in London. I'm Hannah Wallace, and joining me now in the studio is Vincent Caldeira, Chief Technologist, Financial Services at Red Hat. Vincent, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today.
I'm glad to be here, thanks.
I know, it has been a fantastic event so far, and I'm sure you've made the most of it by having some good in-depth conversations, which is really where I want to start. Can you enlighten us to some of the big conversations you've been having during the event?
Absolutely. So I think this year, for sure, in line with what we've heard from Temenos in this event, we are starting to discuss a lot about the cloud journey for the various customers. Obviously, because we have a huge global population that is attending, we are actually facing extremely different situations.
Yep.
You know, some customers operating in highly regulated country where the cloud may actually not be available as a service. So they need to have alternative strategy to consume Temenos technology. And then, of course, you know, other institutions that, especially, you know, we see neobank, fintech provider operating in more mature market, where for them, you know, the obvious choice is to go with software as a service type of offering, sure. Providing like faster time to market capabilities, and obviously reduced cost in you know, deployment and management for their business, sure. Which is of course always interesting.
Mm-hmm. And as you say, that's where Temenos comes in to help, doesn't it? So could you run us through your partnership with Temenos?
Yeah, so I guess our partnership, if I were to, you know, summarize what we're trying to do is, as a software provider, we are trying to help Temenos to run through their cloud native journey, which is really starting to build all their product and software stack in a way that it can be efficiently consumed on cloud. Mm-hmm. Now, we are also aware that, you know, a lot of the existing Temenos customers, they would be operating on traditional data center. And so, you know, while, you know, all of us would want to be in the ideal situation that it's net new project and people can just adopt the latest new service, you know, easily, the reality is we also have to work together on how do we enable existing customers to do the transition. Mm-hmm. So that's really kind of the, I would say, the main like focus and approach. And as part of this, you know, in the recent months or so, we've actually been actively working with Temenos team on this aspect of, you know, composable banking that you've heard of, you know, pretty regularly in many of the TCF sessions. Now, composability means a lot of different things. You know, there is like technical aspect of composability, mm-hmm. how you can make two systems like work together or work with each other. But there are also aspects of composability in terms of business process. So a lot of our recent partnership has actually focused on how to enable customers to orchestrate business flows and business rules in a way that they can more easily customize solutions and at the same time create greater value for their customer by packaging different Temenos offering with maybe some, you know, fintech solution or some external software that they actually want to integrate and consume together.
Sure. Thank you very much for clarifying composable banking there. It's a new one for us. And so I want to end on the crystal ball question, as it were, then, sort of projecting into the future. Let's talk about some emerging trends you're seeing. Perhaps you could elaborate on those.
Yeah, so, you know, from the, I would say the banking side, you've heard a lot about hyper-personalization, explainable AI, yep. How it's actually being embedded into, you know, digital banking solution. Now, at the heart of that, one trend that I actually wanted to share with people I've met is there is no AI or intelligence without data. And what I found among our customers is very often with the availability of new software, new tooling that is very exciting, like automated fraud capability, ability to personalize a product recommendation to a customer, that all looks fantastic. But at the end of the day, all this technology actually requires data about your customer. And the traditional data you may have from the customer, which is just the transaction you've done in the past, is probably not going to be sufficient mm-hmm. to actually provide better offering. Yeah. So that means we are going through a fundamental shift now in banking, where banks need to also find a way to integrate better with the entire ecosystem of financial services to create a better picture of the customer interaction and to actually leverage these technologies. So that to me is actually the biggest trend. I foresee that a lot of our job in the near future will be how we can actually build a better data view of the customer that is as real-time, as faithful as possible, so we can actually leverage into all these new technologies.
That's right, the ecosystem is rapidly changing. Watch this space, it's safe to say, and interesting to hear what you're doing at Red Hat. But Vincent, we'll leave it there for now, let you get back to the event, and thank you very much.
Thank you.